Chapter 1 Sariputta, the Marshal of the Dhamma by Nyanaponika Thera. Prologue. In many temples of Sri Lanka you will find, on either side of the Buddha image, the statues of two monks. Their robes are draped over one shoulder, and they stand in the attitude of reverence with joined palms. Quite often there are a few flowers at their feet, laid there by some pious devotee. If you ask who they are, you will be told that they are the enlightened one's two chief disciples, the Arahants Sariputta and Mahamoggallana. They stand in the positions they occupied in life, Sariputta on the Buddha's right, Mahamoggallana on his left. When the great stupa at Sanchi was opened up in the middle of the last century, the relic chamber was found to contain two stone receptacles. The one to the north held the bodily relics of Mahamoggallana, while that on the south enclosed those of Sariputta. Thus they had lain while the centuries rolled past and the history of 2,000 years and more played out the drama of impermanence in human life. The Roman Empire rose and fell. The glories of ancient Greece became a distant memory. New religions wrote their names, often with blood and fire, on the changing face of the earth, only to mingle at last with legends of Thebes and Babylon. And gradually the tides of commerce shifted the great centres of civilization from east to west, while generations that had never heard the teaching of the Buddha arose and passed away. But all the time that the ashes of the holy disciples lay undisturbed, forgotten in the land that gave them birth, their memory was held dear wherever the Buddha's message spread, and the record of their lives was passed down from one generation to another, first by word of mouth, then in the written pages of the Buddhist Tipitaka, the most voluminous and detailed scripture of any religion. Next to the enlightened one himself, it is these two disciples of his who stand highest in the veneration of Buddhists in the Theravada lands. Their names are as inseparable from the annals of Buddhism as that of the Buddha himself. If it has come about that in the course of time many legends have been woven into the tradition of their lives, this is but the natural outcome of the devotion that has always been felt for them. And that high esteem was fully justified. Few religious teachers have been so well served by their immediate disciples as was the Buddha. This you will see as you read these pages, for they tell the story of one of the two greatest of them, the Venerable Sariputta, who was second only to the Buddha in the depth and range of his understanding and in his ability to teach the doctrine of deliverance.
Khema of Great Wisdom. Just as the Buddha has appointed two chief disciples in the order of monks, Sariputta and Moggallana, he likewise named two women his foremost disciples in the Bhikkhuni Sangha, the order of nuns. These two were the Bhikkhunis Upalavana and Khema, the former excelling in psychic power, the latter in wisdom. The Buddha has held up these two as the models and examples for all the nuns to emulate, the standard against which other nuns could evaluate themselves. The name Khema means security, and is a synonym for Nibbana. The nun Khema belonged to a royal family from the land of Magadha. She was extremely beautiful and fair to behold, and when she reached marriageable age, she became one of the chief consorts of King Bimbisara. This king was a stream enterer, and a generous benefactor of the Blessed One. He has donated his own bamboo grove to the Sangha, and constantly looked after the monks with great solicitude. But although Khema often heard about the Buddha from the king, she resisted going to see him, fearful that he would find fault with her beauty of form, and preach to her about the vanity of sensual pleasures to which she was tightly attached. The king, however, found a way to induce her to listen to the teachings. He hired a troupe of singers to sing songs to her in praise of the harmony, peacefulness, and beauty of the Bamboo Grove Monastery. and because Kemar loved the beauties of nature, she decided to visit there.